On June 12th, 2023, the Denver Nuggets made NBA history as they won their first NBA championship in franchise history by defeating the Miami Heat 4-1 in the NBA Finals. Now, this was a big win for a multitude of reasons. First off, like I mentioned, it was their first championship in franchise history. It don't really get that much bigger than that. On top of that, Nikola Jokić just having the postseason run and season of the ages. He had led all players in points, rebounds, and assists. And let's not forget to mention the electric play that he got from Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. This roster just seemed like they was perfectly constructed, and Nikola Jokić was also starting to hear some murmurs around his name, questioning could he really be the best player on the championship team, even though at this point, I had him as the best player in the NBA. So, I mean, I kind of want to take some credit for that. But this was an electric moment in this Nuggets franchise history. Like, let's pull up the highlights. All right, so the Denver Nuggets are on like a different type of run, like during this postseason. I'm not going to play this whole 36-minute video, but it was times like this where this series, honestly, they swept the Lakers because a large amount because of Nikola Jokić doing stuff like this, bro. This series between them and the Lakers was actually pretty close. Like, the Nuggets did sweep them, but this was every single game was very competitive and close. And after that shot, I mean, AD couldn't even do nothing but like smile. Because like what Nikola Jokić sits up here, turn around off the shoulder, and I mean, what are you realistically supposed to do there? Like, what if you are Anthony Davis? What are you supposed to do? This is good defense. You all in his grill. And then the next play, bro, I remember seeing this, and this when I knew the game was over, because this is the dagger. Bro, fading away behind the three-point line off of one leg. What the fuck? Once again, they're going to show the replay. This is good defense from Anthony Davis. He stepped on his little shoe. He stepped on his shoe. What? He stepped on his shoe and he still made the shot. That there is like, boom. It's another one. Okay, AD misses the putback. I haven't watched this, so what? On the floor, tussling around. God dang. Okay, boom. Pass to Jamal Murray. Throw it up to AG. Electric. AG also went on he had like a couple moments this postseason that was really nice. Then we're gonna make this the last one, bro. I mean, damn. Oh my gosh. That's embarrassing. I don't cap Uncle Mike. Me personally, I wouldn't go for that. If I go down, everybody going down. I'm liable to really do something to everybody in that joint. And yeah, I mean, this is where you should have known. You got Jeff Green dunking on folks. That's I mean, Uncle Jeff Green dunking on people in Big 2023. Yeah, nah, bro. All right, so like I mentioned before, this championship was a big deal for the Denver Nuggets. Even in the regular season, they had a 53-29 regular season. They were the number one seed and probably what a lot of people consider the most competitive version. Well, probably not the most competitive version of the Western Conference, but one of the most competitive versions of the Western Conference at this time period. They're 53-29, the number one seed, and they went on a 16-4 run in the postseason. They took down Minnesota 4-1 in the first round. Then they defeated the Suns for the 2 in the second round, and they absolutely swept the Los Angeles Lakers in the conference finals, which actually, I have to say, that was actually way closer than a lot of people would remember, but they were really just better. They were fifth in offensive rating in the regular season, first in the postseason, the best defense in that postseason, average defense in the regular season, best net rating. It was very nice at home. Nikola Jokić became the first player in NBA history to lead a single postseason run in total points, rebounds, and assists, and he won Finals MVP averaging 30 points, 14 rebounds, 7.2 assists on 58.3 shooting. And then Jamal Murray, a lot of things surrounding Jamal Murray beforehand was his injury history, where he returned after missing the last two postseasons and averaged 26 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 7.1 assists throughout the playoffs. And him and Jokić actually became the first duo in NBA history to post both 30-point triple-doubles in the same finals game. This Nuggets team was electric. The way they were built, the way they were constructed, they had everything. They had the defensive anchors on the other side to offset some of the defensive liabilities in Nikola Jokić and Jamal Murray. They had the offensive firepower with Nikola Jokić, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. You also had a Bruce Brown, who was a nice Swiss Army knife, who was just one of those guys that, did all the dirty work for your team. This Nuggets team was constructed as great as they could have been. But now we're a couple years down the line, and this is the type of stuff that the Nuggets are doing. So, for those of you guys who don't know, the Denver Nuggets, they did have some obvious struggles, one of them being, and they made some changes, one of those being them trading Michael Porter Jr. away. They had Peyton Watson, but earlier, what was this, the 19th? What day that was. They ended up trading Peyton Watson to the Cavaliers, and they basically got a 2031 Cavs first round pick and a 2032 Kings second round pick. And all of this happened because the Nuggets weren't unable to pay Peyton Watson the bread that he was looking for. Now, I'm not going to lie, Peyton Watson got absolutely broke off. I think he signed like a 4-year, $88 million contract, which is something the Denver Nuggets just simply put could not afford. They could not afford to pay him in that, and we knew it was inevitable that he was going to have to leave. And if we're being honest, it really would have been a bit of a risk. I mean, listen, I love Peyton Watson. I love what he was able to do on the defensive side of on the defensive side of the ball. But he has a breakout season, and having to pay somebody who made that much bread after one breakout season is asking a lot. It is asking a lot, and they already paid Christian Brown all of that money after he had his little breakout moment, and we see where that had got them now. So understandably, you want to be a bit hesitant on what moves, but the thing is, you replace Peyton Watson with signing DeMar DeRozan. And the Nuggets roster that is constructed now is really not anything like that roster from a couple of years ago. You got Bruce Brown back, but you no longer have Michael Porter Jr. Aaron Gordon is way more injury riddled now. You just lost Tim Hardaway Jr., who was one of your only positive shooters that could really mesh next to Jamal and Nikola Jokić. And now you add DeMar DeRozan to that, and you just lost Peyton Watson, who was very key defensively. And I just don't know what DeMar DeRozan does for you guys. Like, off the bench, yeah, he's going to provide like some scoring boost, but like defensively, he really has not shown to be that great of a defender throughout his entire career. Well, I'm going to say throughout his entire career. When he was in Toronto, he was actually a pretty good defender, but he's not a needle mover. And for Denver, when you have this window where you have Nikola Jokić, where you have Jamal Murray, the moves that they have been making thus far do not reflect them building a team that I think can compete in the Western Conference. Think about this. This past year, we had the Spurs and the Thunder meet up in the Western Conference Finals. We already know what the Thunder are. They won the finals, not this past year, but the year before last. They have arguably the best player in the world in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They have J-Dub. They have Chet Holmgren. They have a very nice nucleus on the roster, and Denver can match that nucleus, but those supporting pieces, they cannot match. You cannot match Alex Caruso, Wiggs. Wait, no, not Wiggs. Is it Wiggs? Anyways, Isaiah Joe. Not Isaiah Joe. God damn it. Cason Wallace. Jared McCain. You cannot match those type of guys. When you have the Spurs, yes, nucleus. Victor Wembanyama and, they're going to say Darren Fox. I'm going to say Dylan Harper. But the supporting pieces, Devin Vassell, Julian Champagnie, like, they don't have the guys who can match those supporting pieces. And this Nuggets roster, when you look at it, it just doesn't really look all that enticing. And that's why I'm making this video about how the Nuggets front office, in my opinion, they are failing Nikola Jokić as it stands. Don't get me wrong. Hopefully Christian Brown can bounce back this season and like prove everybody wrong who was talking down on him, because I saw what he was, and I think the stuff that they were asking him to do in his breakout year, I wouldn't expect him to be doing that on a consistent basis, but I think he can still be a high-level contributor in the league. I don't think them giving him that contract was something where, like, hindsight is 2020 after the fact, but when he signed that contract, especially when I was looking, bro, I was like, bro, that is some shit that I believe he can continue to do for his career and be a nice supporting piece next to Jokić. Now, will I have gave him that money? Fuck no, baby. But I can understand why they gave him that type of bread, and I am honestly not that mad at them for trying to extend him. I'm not. But that does handicap you a lot, and we know in this modern time in the NBA, you need some type of cap flexibility, and we're very stricken. Like, it's very strict around here what you have to do. So, yes, you need to maximize what you do and build around your players and keep your core as intact as you can. And you were kind of in like a lose-lose situation with this whole Payne Watson situation, but at the same time, brother, You got to do better than signing DeMar DeRozan to be around Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. You can't sit up here and lose. I mean, unless Tim Hardaway Jr. was trying to make more money, and I guess you could say he is objectively in a better situation being in Miami that has Giannis and Bam Antetokounmpo, and it perfectly fits his play style. Same thing in Denver, right? So I don't think you really give up a Tim Hardaway Jr. And it's not just that; it's the surrounding moves that you, or the lack of surrounding moves you make to kind of rebuild this roster. Now, here's the thing: we could get to the playoffs. I mean, not the playoffs. We could get to the trade deadline. This team looks completely different. All of this stuff could work out. But as it stands right now, when I look at this Denver team, they just don't really look all of that good to me. They're still a very competitive team in the West. They have one of the best players in the entire NBA on their team, Nikola Jokic. Like, it's Nikola Jokic at the end of the day. But, I mean, and y'all let me know, do you think that this Denver Nuggets team, as it currently stands, is able to compete up against those upper echelon people in the West, them guys who they have to go through? Are they even better than the Timberwolves at this point? I'm not going to say yes or no on that. I have to do an in-depth breakdown. But if you have to figure out whether you're better than the Timberwolves, who have some pretty glaring holes on their roster, yeah, man, don't even think about sitting up here and trying to compete with the Spurs or the OKC Thunder. That's the type of shit that's just not going to happen. And I feel like over the past couple of years, I mean, we thought after Nuggets won 2023, they were going to run this hoe. And we usually do with a lot of teams after they win that first championship. We thought the Celtics was going to be the same way in 2024. We thought the Thunder were going to be the same way last year. For surely, this is the era of parity. A lot of stuff is bound to happen. But, I mean, you could just tell when certain players just are not going to be great fits and it's just not really going to all the way work out. The Nuggets are going to be good. You have Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. But in the long term, are we really looking at the Nuggets as a team this season that, oh yeah, if they win the championship, I wouldn't be surprised. If the Nuggets won the championship this year as their roster currently stands, I would be very shocked. I'd be shocked if they were able to make it past the Spurs and or the Thunder. That would genuinely shock me. I think losing Peyton Watson is a very big hit. Defensively, you're going to be hit. You already have been struggling trying to figure out how to adjust under this new coach. And Aaron Gordon, who is like arguably your best defender, I mean, that year they won the championship, they were average defense, except for in the postseason. And Aaron Gordon has been so injury riddled over the last couple seasons. Like, his leg is really falling off the bone. And now you just lost your arguably like best defender on the roster. So where do they go from this? I truthfully do not know. I don't know. And you are in a certain window where you have to literally maximize the talents of Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. Now, hey, you got you one. Denver, I have to give you that. You got you a championship, which is something that a lot of teams don't even get the chance to have. If I'm being objective and I'm looking at this on a year-by-year basis, yes, you got the championship, but if we're talking about competing for another championship, bruh, I'm just not really liking what I'm seeing from this Denver roster. Like, actually, let me go look at the Denver roster right quick. Okay, when looking at the Denver roster, I mean, you could hope that Julian Strawther can show you something like he did, what was that, 2 years ago in the playoffs where he went absolutely ballistic. But maybe Dayron Holmes can give you something at forward. Maybe Spencer Jones can do something. But you see how it's a lot of goddamn maybes with this roster? And hopefully Cam Johnson, I mean, hopefully he just locks in, right? Like, I mean, that is a big thing that I guess, like, Peyton Watson, why he stepped up last year was because Cam Johnson was struggling so much. But, I mean, goddamn, when I look at this roster as it currently stands, I mean, I'm not all the way. I didn't know they picked up Julian Reese. I am just not all the way that convinced. I would really have to, like, Aaron Gordon only played 36 games last year. Yikes. I just don't know how overall feel about this roster going into this upcoming season. And that's something that Denver's going to have to figure out. Denver has to figure that out this upcoming season, how you're going to work this roster, how you're going to maximize this roster, and their strengths and weaknesses so you can really compete in a West that has, I mean, a lot of competitive teams. LeBron is no longer in the West, but the Lakers, they do look like they have a better squad. The Thunder, the Spurs, obviously the Timberwolves made some big moves. Like, the West is stacked, bro. And the West got some dogs over there in that motherfucker. And Denver, y'all need to lock in and figure out what y'all are going to do. But I mean, I don't know where this roster goes from here or what type of moves they can make. We just have to see. Denver has been very injury riddled over the past couple of seasons, so it is like a double-edged sword where it's like, yeah, Denver don't look all that enticing, but they have actually struggled with injuries. Christian Brown played 44 games this past season. Bruce Brown played all 82. Wow. Nikola Jokic played 65. He met the requirement. Jamal Murray played 75. Cam Johnson played 54, but he was just very inconsistent all year. Aaron Gordon only played 36, like I said. So, I mean, I don't know what Dave Adelman is going to do with this roster, how he's going to cook, but as someone who saw the Denver Nuggets team in 2023 and how well built of a roster that was, and it translated on the court. And I feel like last year that roster was better than the one that they have this year. This offseason just has not been very good for Denver. I would probably put them as a loser of the offseason. I don't know if any more moves are going to happen coming up, but I'm just not really loving what I'm seeing from Denver right now. I think they got some stuff they need to work on and fix, but we're going to have to see what happens. If you are a Denver fan, y'all let me know how y'all feel about y'all moves down below in the comments. Let me know if you feel differently than what I feel. But I don't know. That's all I got. Subscribe, like the video, comment on the video. We just hit 1,000 subscribers, so let's give a big shout out to that. But that's all I got. Until next time, peace.
Protects, the moon projects a lot on everything we say.